Nashville, Tennessee. We're here for another live commitment. Not just any live commitment. This is the biggest one we've ever done here in the On3 studio. So as everybody gathers in and gets comfortable, do me a favor right now. Like this video and subscribe to the On3 YouTube page. This is just the first of many commitments to come. So do me a favor, just hit that subscribe button right now. What are we here for? You know why we're here. We're here for five-star wide receiver Mike Matthews, 6'1", 180 pounds, from Parkview High School in Lilburn, Georgia. Mike's the number 4 ranked wide receiver in the country and the 14th best player overall, according to the On3 industry rankings. Now, Matthews is making his commitment after taking 4 official visits this summer. Mike had a busy June. He was at Clemson to start things off, then Georgia, USC, and on June 23rd, he wrapped up his official visits at Tennessee. Coast-to-coast official visits. Look at that. And then just on Monday, Mike Matthews narrowed his list down to a top 4. The finalists are Clemson, USC, Georgia, and Tennessee. Now, earlier this week, I let Director of Scouting and Rankings Charles Power sit right here in this seat and tell us all about Mike Matthews as a prospect.
So I first saw Mike Matthews in person at the OT7 finals last summer when he was a rising junior, and he completely set the tournament on fire with his play as a receiver. I actually went up to him between one of the games and I said, "Hey man, what position are these schools recruiting you at?" And he said, "Mainly safety." And I told him, I think that might change. Now, when we look at Mike Matthews as a receiver, he checks a lot of boxes for the position. He's got good size. He's close to 6'1", 195 pounds, a plus athlete, a guy who ran an electronically timed 4.4840 on the camp circuit this spring. And is productive on the field. Over 1,000 yards as a junior. I think he's a guy who's going to continue to grow into that receiver role the more he plays it. Has good length to go with the athleticism. I think he has upside as a contested catch player, a guy who can win in traffic. So brings a lot to the table as a receiver.
Thank you, Charles. Now, really interesting. Mike Matthews is a star on both sides of the football. Probably could have been a top prospect, whether he chose to play DB or wide receiver. Now, he is being recruited primarily as a wide receiver. Let's take a look. Before we go to Lilburn, Georgia, let's take a look at some things that are happening in recruiting across the country this week. Just yesterday, 4-star flip, 4-star wide receiver TJ Abrams goes from FSU to UF. He was committed to the Noles for nearly 6 months, took an official visit to both schools in June, and last night he flipped to the rival Gators. A two-headed monster at UGA, it could be happening. UGA flipped Chauncey Bowens from UF in June, and now the Dogs are trending for the #1 running back in America, 5-star Nathaniel Frazier. Speaking of 5 stars, Texas is trending for a couple of them. Colin Simmons, the 5-star edge, 5-star cornerback Kobe Black, and 5-star wide receiver are all trending towards Texas right now. They don't have decision dates set, but Longhorns look like they could land a few. Speaking of commitments, we got more coming. We got more coming right here on the On3 YouTube channel. Tomorrow, safety Brandon Jacob out of Orlando, Florida. He'll be deciding between UCF, Miami, Maryland, and Texas A&M. And then on Monday, 5-star plus linebacker, the #1 linebacker in America, Justin Williams. He'll be making his decision on the On3 YouTube channel. Be sure to check that out. Be sure to subscribe. Let's take a quick look at the 2024 top 10 team rankings. Look at that. No surprise, Georgia at #1, followed by Ohio State, Alabama, Florida, and Michigan. Then you got USC, Texas A&M, Clemson, Penn State, and Oregon. Let's see if these rankings change by the end of this show. I don't know if they will, but just something to remember. We are all here for the live commitment of 5-star wide receiver Mike Matthews, 6'1", 180 pounds, out of Parkview High School in Lilburn, Georgia. Matthews is the #4 ranked wide receiver in the country and the 14th best player overall. And today we're going to find out, who will it be? Is it going to be Clemson, Georgia, USC, or Tennessee? Let's bring on Director of Recruiting here at On3, Chad Simmons, right now. Chad, you've been watching Mike develop as a prospect over the past 2 to 3 years. When did you know that he was going to be an elite 5-star recruit?
I think things started for him, Josh, probably kind of a breakout season his sophomore year. I think 48 catches, 750 plus yards, I think 7 or 8 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of put his name on the map. I would say, as the evaluation period came in last spring, that's when his recruitment kind of took off. I think over a dozen schools offered him last May. That carried into June, July, into the season last fall. And I think for me, really, Mike, making that statement was probably game one a year ago when they went out and beat Johns Creek in Corky Kell Classic. I think 52-7, I want to say. I think Mike had 2 touchdowns in maybe the first half of that game, took one to the house, ended up going again, kind of setting the tone for a major junior year and becoming one of those guys, one of those premier prospects in the country. Ended up again, I think, back-to-back seasons, 48 catches again, this time 1,000+ yards with 9 touchdowns. So I think last year, game one, I had heard about Mike. I had seen Mike multiple times, but that game one to me kind of set the tone and made him stand out as one of those guys in 2024.
Chad, you broke the news on Monday that Mike would be ready to announce today and that he was narrowing his list to a Final Four. So as we get ready to hear from Mike Matthews himself, what's the latest intel that you're hearing on his recruitment?
Mike's been a fun guy to cover, man. Very quiet, kind of reserved, guarded, not a guy that's, all about look at me, look at me. He's a guy that I think has gone on trips and been observant, asked the right questions, has a great supporting cast around him. I think it came down to relationships and things like that. And I think early on, I think about, I guess July a year ago, took that trip to USC. That put the Trojans in the mix early. Lincoln Riley, his offense, his player production on the offensive side of the ball. I think Clemson had some buzz early on as well, a school that loves to recruit the Peach State. He has a lot of connections there at Clemson. I think as things played out, I think obviously all 4 schools, including Georgia and Tennessee, became factors, took OVs to all 4 schools. I think early on in late spring, early summer, it looked maybe more like Clemson versus Tennessee, USC trying to hang around. I think Georgia made a push after the official visit early in June. And Tennessee's been that consistent name that has continued to come up around Mike Matthews on my side of things. So all 4 schools made a big, I think, strong impression. But the latest buzz has been around more Tennessee, Georgia, maybe Clemson, Tennessee early in the summer.
Whew. All right, well, we're going to hear from Mike here in a minute. We're going to go to Lilburn, Georgia, where Mike Matthews is getting set up with his family. I know he's got a lot of friends and teammates watching. So before we go to Mike, though, be sure to follow him on both Instagram and Twitter. Mike Matthews, 6'1", 180 pounds, out of Parkview High School. His career's just about to take off, so be sure to follow him. Looks like Mike is set up. Mike, today's your big day. You're there in Lilburn, Georgia, at home, about ready to make your big decision. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good. I'm real excited for this opportunity.
All right. So on Monday, you cut your list down. Not everybody's going to make it to be your finalist, but you cut your list down to a Final Four. Why did these teams make it to the final list?
All these teams are great schools. I'm just proud to be able to be recruited by them. But I would start off with probably Tennessee. Tennessee was just a great school for me. And then I was seeing what they had going on. I had a good relationship with Hypo and Pope and everybody else on the staff, and I just really loved it there. Or if you go to Clemson, where we have Dallas Sweeney, great coach, wide receiver coach also. And he's good. He's good with Coach Grisham because Grisham was with them in his college career. So they have a great atmosphere over there, and it's a big family. And then I will go USC. USC was just, it's across the country, but it's a big time school. They're number one in the business group. And then I just feel like it's a great opportunity. And then their football is really good. Lincoln Riley has a good offensive mind. And then Coach Hoover has been doing a great job with recruiting me also. And then Georgia, two-time back-to-back national championships. That's tough to beat. Coach Trevor has been doing a great job, and I built a great relationship with everybody on the staff, especially Coach B-Mac. And, those are really my guys there. It's hometown, so it's really family over there.
All right, Mike, say your thank yous. I'm going to turn the floor over to you, and then let us know where you're planning on attending college.
All right. I would like to thank my family, my coaches, especially my mom, my dad, my sister. They've been doing a real big job with me. My mom has been real hard to me, and my dad, just growing up, it's never been really easy for me. They always made me work for everything. And I'm just thankful to have them as parents. And I would like to thank my sister too. You know, we didn't really click at first, but you know, now that now that I have it now, you know, I'm really just blessed to have her in my family. You know, my dog Tone, you know how we rock right at my dog right there. Been with me since the jump. And then Coach B Mill just really been pushing me to be the man who I am today. And I would like to thank all y'all for coming here. And I would be committed to.
What we doing, Mike? What we doing? What we doing? Hey!
Oh, there it is, Tennessee.
Let's go!
Congratulations, Mike Matthews headed to Tennessee. Mike, I want to know, when did you know that it was going to be Tennessee?
It was kind of really like a gut feeling, you know. When I was on my official visit, it was just I just had a feeling it was different over there. You know, I had a good time with all the players and the coaches, and I just really enjoyed it over there.
All right. Well, I want to ask you, because I'm sure Volunteer fans want to know, what are they getting in wide receiver Mike Matthews when he steps on campus in Knoxville?
I'm really laid back, but you can get a real energetic player, somebody who wants to win. That's really it. That's all I'm about my business. I'm just hungry and want to win.
All right, Mike. Well, congratulations. Thank you for committing with us here at On3. Go and hang out with your friends and family. Go enjoy. Congrats.
Thank you.
Whew, a huge commitment. Mike Matthews to Tennessee. He commits, you know, I thought a couple months back, maybe it would be Clemson coming off of that visit. Well, really, every visit Mike Matthews took, I felt good about that program. And a lot of programs came into today feeling optimistic. But in the end, it's Tennessee. Now, let's bring on Austin Price from VolQuest, go a little deeper here. Austin, what do you think it was that put Tennessee over the top for Mike Matthews?
Well, Josh, I think that he just loves the offense. And he felt really comfortable in Knoxville with Coach Pope, with Coach Heupel, his family. He referenced mom and dad, and I got to hang out with them a little bit at the On3 NIL series event, and they just were the sweetest people. And you could tell he was so grounded because they had kind of kept him grounded. And, you know, I think he's kind of a driven kid. Getting to talk to his high school coach, you know, he talked about how Mike is a first one and last one to leave type kid, is super driven, doesn't rest on the success he has. It doesn't matter if he's got 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars. He works the same. And I think that was one of the biggest things for, you know, his family is they loved being able to spend time together on these official visits. They went through each one of them. They did pros and cons. And at the end of the day, Tennessee had more pros than anybody.
So on the field, what type of role, what type of fit will Mike Matthews have in Josh Heupel's offense?
Well, you know, that slot position, you know, is a killer in this offense, man. I mean, everybody has success. Like Velus Jones 2 years ago, then Jalen Hyatt wins the Biletnikoff Award last year out of the slot. And then, of course, a lot of high hope this year with Squirrel White and Dante Thornton. You know, he fits in there really, really well. He can also slide outside, so he's versatile. One of the things that his coach told me that just really, you know, sticks with me, because, again, everybody loves to get compared to this guy and that guy. He didn't compare him to a football player. He compared him to Michael Jordan in terms of the ability to hang in the air. There are times where you think he's going to come back down and the ball's going to keep flying over his head, and he it's like he floats, and he's able to pick off passes, get receptions that, you know, people don't think. He makes plays that I'm just like, there's no way I've, you know, saw that coming. And, you know, he's someone that, you know, that this staff targeted early on. Chad referenced defense, and Charles did too, defense and offense. First time I ever talked to anybody at Tennessee about Mike Matthews, they said, we don't care. Whatever he wants to play, he can play either side of the ball. They just saw football player and just playmaker. And, you know, he wants to play offense. They love him on the offensive side of the ball, and they are excited. They're stoked. Our message board right now is just, I mean, it is a fever pitch right now with Mike Matthews mania right now.
Yeah, hey, Austin, you guys have done an incredible job over on VolQuest covering this entire recruitment. You, Brent Hubbs, everybody, you guys have been phenomenal throughout this. Tennessee fans are lucky to have you. Speaking of Tennessee fans, yeah, you better go tend to that message board. They're probably burning it down right now.
Oh, man, they're stoked. I mean, hey, listen, you could say a kid's not coming. If he comes, they forget all about a kid's not coming. They've been just anxiously awaiting Mike Matthews' decision. Now the wait is on for Edwin Spillman, who will decide between Tennessee and Ohio State on Friday. I mean, Tennessee fans right now feel like, okay, this is our chance to make a run in recruiting, and it all starts with the big fire starter, Mike Matthews.
Whew, and a huge commitment. All right, Austin, thank you very much. Go check out VolQuest. They got a ton of stuff going on over there. The Mike Matthew party on the message board has just begun. All right, let's take a look at these top 10 rankings right now. Oop, I told you, things might change, and we have a change. Now, Georgia's still number 1. Then you got Michigan there at 5, USC at 6, A&M at 7. Tennessee jumps from 14 into the top 10, sitting there at number 8. Clemson, and then Penn State boots Oregon outside the top 10. All right, there you have it. 5-star wide receiver Mike Matthews commits to Tennessee over Clemson, UGA, and USC. A monumental commitment here on the On3 YouTube channel. If you guys are still paying attention, go ahead and subscribe to the On3 YouTube page. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with us for another live commitment here in the On3 studios in Nashville, Tennessee.